Hey everybody, Jay Wade back here with another No Pause reaction. Thank y'all so much for joining me, man. It's been a long time. Long story short, got the COVID for like the second time, knocked me out for a week. Then just everything got behind, and I just got back from the great state of Kentucky. Awesome vacation, and we're here now. Frenchie hit me up. What's up, dude?
Yeah, man, it's going good. Been a while. Happy we're hitting back content, and what better content to hit back the channel with than Ren. Now,
Yeah,
full disclosure, Jade didn't see it. I've seen it once, but hell, there's so much to decode in this one. Between High Ren and this, there were some really interesting tunes, some really well thought out, not pop, but more radio friendly in a sense.
all right.
And I missed his storyteller aspect. Man, does he deliver. The gap between High Red and this was worth the wait, man.
Cool. Yeah, I saw I left Tuesday, go out of town, and before then, like Sunday or Saturday or something, he had put it up as a premiere. So I knew it was coming, but I knew I was going to be out of town. So I had this in my queue, and then you hit me up a couple hours ago and was like, dude, let's do this. You got to hear this now. And I was like, well, it's in my queue anyway. So let's do it. Here we are.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, thank y'all very much. It's good to be back. I hated that hiatus happened, but I just got sick as a dog, and I just kind of got in effort mode. It got me depressed for a couple weeks, and I fell behind on everything. I'm getting caught up here, but I'm so stoked. And my mom will be back next week. She was
Nice.
supposed to do some stuff with me today, but she'll be back next week with some more stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Some Tupac with her, some Tool. Also going to show her some Ren. All she's seen is High Ren. So we're going to show her. I'm drawing a blank. The song for his friend that he's playing on the keyboard.
For Joe.
Yes, for Joe. I've been listening to that song a lot lately. Because I've been thinking about my own one. I've got a few friends who have passed, but one specific friend who committed suicide a few years ago. I found out like a week after his memorial service, dude. Really sucked. But I've been listening to that a lot. I'm like, man, my mom would love this song. So we'll get her to hear some more of that. But I'm looking forward to this, man, and I'm just going to stop talking now. Frenchie's sitting there probably like, dude, just shut up and let's do it. So I will shut up and let's do it. Hit subscribe if you've not already done so, especially if you're a returning viewer. And here we go. Ren, Money Game Part 3.
Let's do this.
you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the popo inside of his pocket. 35, he gets the call. I'm sorry son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack, I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck. Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41, he wasn't walking. 42, not walking quickly. 43, never running round the pavements of his city. 44, inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Cut the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy. Community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Well, holy crap, man.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you what the storytelling in this one was worth the write between High Ren and this?
Yeah. Do you happen to know what the gap was between the Jenny and Screech, Violet's Tale, and High Ren?
I'm not sure, but I don't think we're always gonna get all the time this. With his pattern, it shows. He has a couple other like really deep ones.
Right.
But if he always does this, I realize now it wouldn't be as special. It's almost an event waiting for that next storytelling Ren song. Because this is unique, even more personally. High Ren was unique for the exchange, right? But it was very fluid. This cuts in places you don't expect. It adds the cinematic to it that I personally, like I said off camera, I said before in High Ren, I want to see him as an actor. Now I want to see him as an actor and director. Because Samuel, for what I understand, did a lot of like the visuals. They had a pivot cam apparently. Okay. And all the technology was there. But apparently Ren was beat by beat doing everything by purpose, you know, and it showed. And it was such a beautifully made video. But the message, let's talk about the message, but the message and the story itself is crap. Damn, man.
Absolutely. I got a question here. Do you know was that another one shot?
I don't think so. I think the times I'm starting to not be good, but be better at seeing when he edits. I think the time that you see like the camera goes really close to the wall at the beginning, there's a time that you would see the chair and go back to the chair. So I think there's little moments they would cut. So I'm thinking maybe to put in the couple set pieces extra, maybe 3 to 4 cuts.
Right. Because there was only one spot where I was like, there has to be a cut. There was when he sits down in the chair and it circles around him. And then when we get back around, the 4 ladies are sitting there with their instruments. Because, I mean, clearly they weren't there. And it would have taken longer for them to get there than that.
Also for the drug scene, when they start opening the drugs and there's people running and the grenades and everything, that's probably an edit too, unless they're very far back. I'm not sure. Right. But that feels like they have to edit it to put it in. If not, logistically, if that is one shot, congrats, Ren, because I don't know how you did that. Yeah. What do you think about the story itself? Like the story of him young going to older. What were you expecting? What was hitting? What did you write on your notepad?
Well, as far as like where I thought the story was going, I had a good idea once pretty soon into it, once you realize like the father is about status and wealth, and he's clearly passing that on to his son as a part of a way to live life. So I kind of knew it was going in that direction. I didn't know exactly where it would go from that. You know what I mean? Like once we get to that juncture, where is it going to go there? I really didn't know. But the downward spiral and the description of the downward spiral and how he goes from his age from year to year and stuff, dude, absolutely brilliant. And being 44 myself, I mean, clearly I'm not wealthy. I never have been. I don't, my back does hurt a lot, but it's not where I can't walk or anything like that, but the point is I'm 44, and to hear him going through the ages and everything, there are things I can still relate with, like as far as emotional things and feelings. So that was cool. And now as far as what I wrote on my pad, I just had this thought at the very beginning when the bag is around his neck, he's playing the piano and the rope around the neck. And he's referenced the noose at least 2 or 3 times that I've heard, like mentioning noose or a rope around the neck in his lyrics. So, I mean, I don't know. I kind of wonder, has he attempted suicide via hanging before, perhaps? And that is something, it's something that I hear a lot, and visually I just noticed that. So that just made me, and it's none of my business. I don't need an answer to it. You know what I mean? That's not a question where I'm like, I want to know. It's none of my business and I don't care. It's just an observation and a thought that popped in my head. Going to what you were saying about directing, I've noticed this. Well, the first time I noticed it was in the acoustic version of Murderer, which I love the original version, but dude, that acoustic version that's my jam, dude. I play that shit at work, dude. But I first noticed it in that acoustic version of Murderer, him directing the other musicians. I like that. Like where like in Murder, you can see like he's playing lift up here. He's playing the guitar, and then like he's letting the note extend, and then you see him with his hand kind of like tap toward the other guitarist, and right at that moment, the other guy starts in. He did that again here a couple times that I noticed, mainly with the ladies behind him with the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Then that got me wondering how many things and gestures, maybe not just hand gestures, but how many things like perhaps just like touching something with his hand, or like how many little things like that in the choreography of this are clues and hints and directions at other people, not just the ones that are obvious to us, like the 1, 2, 3, but like maybe like, for example, if he's like, does this and looks at his, is that a cue for something?
Yeah, I have a feeling.
I want to know.
The way he shot this, I have a feeling it was really beat-like,
Yeah.
Like every movement he did wasn't for a waste, I think. Even the way he threw his jacket back directly on the camera and fell down. I don't know how many times he had to practice that, but all the little movements of the camera itself or of him had intent. And it felt like a trick, because this song is trigger based, like it's age based, right?
Right.
Year 1 it happens, year 2 it happens, year 3 it happens. So there's almost a mathematical beat to it because he has to go through ages. So this is brilliantly directed and shot by Sam and Ren. I have a feeling they're both in director's seat in this one. I would love to know how many times they had to practice that video, because
that was my last note that I had, was how many hours were put into the choreography and practicing it all, dude. I mean, hours and hours and hours. And that's just the practicing the choreography. That's not sitting down with your storyboard and thinking about, first of all, you think about it in your head. and then you put it down to like a storyboard kind of a form, a crude even if you need to, then you actually practice it. I mean, how many hours and days did it take the entire process?
I don't know, but congrats to him to actually pull it off, because it was flawless. The ideas behind it was flawless. The visuals were flawless. The lyrics. I actually want to take a minute to talk about that moment he stops the violin.
Right.
And he almost goes into first just speaking, and then it comes slam poetry, but yet feels like it follows everything.
Right.
He knows how to cut moments and bring something new with being jarring and not jarring at the same time, which is an equilibrium not a lot of people can have. Like there's something off about him sometimes, not as a person, but the energy he gives off. And yet it's not creepy. It's just, you cannot take off your eyes off of him.
Right.
He has this quality to him that is just superhuman, is not the good term, but evolved. He really is evolved and evolving this kind of music, which is not rap. It's not, what do you call this, is my question. And I have that question.
Yeah, I know. And I just got two more things to say. The second one kind of goes with along with what you were just saying there, but let me know in the comments, guys, how many of you guys at the part where he walks to the table with the gun and the bullets, as he's taking off his jacket and he's folding it up, how many of you guys thought about the 9 Inch Nails Happiness and Slavery video at that moment? I'm just curious, because my mind went right to that video. And so let me know in the comments who else thought of that in that moment. Have you seen that video, Frenchie?
Nope.
Holy shit, dude. That's one that could never be put as a reaction on YouTube, dude.
And here's where I crush your heart. Not that much of a 9 Inch fan, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll just move on past that. And my final thing I was going to say, but let me know in the comments though, because that was the opening of that Happiness and Slavery video. Him taking off his jacket and folding it up. I was like, wow, yeah. But maybe that was a reference. Who knows? I'd like to know that too. But in my opinion, of course, he knows better than anyone. But in my opinion, I think he should stay solo, dude. Like, as far as independent and not on any record labels, like, start his own, like, be on his own record label. But there would be so much lost, I think, if he were to sign a deal.
Here's the benefit of having YouTube. YouTube sometimes can be a headache for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But one thing it did for this kind of artist is he doesn't need a label. YouTube is his label in a sense, without the constrictions. Yep. He has a platform to do what he wants, when he wants, however he wants, and with the message he wants, including heavy stuff that even sometimes YouTube is like, no, but still does it.
Right.
So he doesn't need, he found the perfect medium, and there's going to be more and more artists he's going to inspire in the next 10 years that if this platform exists or a platform like this exists, we will see more and more growth in intelligent, touching, and needed music.
Right. Yep. And also, I just had another thought in the comments. Let me know if anyone else gets this feeling, but REN and this song, I also, now that I'm thinking about it, I can, whether it's conscious or not for REN, I personally can hear a little bit of Leonard Cohen influence as far as the songwriting and storytelling aspect. Leonard was great at storytelling in song form. But that thought just popped in. Thinking of more specifically of the song Hallelujah, how extremely simple it is, but just how powerful it is, and how he had well over 100 verses to that song by the time he had passed. So it was a song that he just kept writing, and it just, that's the history behind that song. The story behind that song is awesome. There's a killer documentary, I think, on Netflix about it. But that Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, I don't know, man. This song and High Ren just kind of remind me a little bit of that as far as the being able to masterfully compose the music and the storytelling.
Because both Hallelujah and this has this maturity of an old soul.
Yeah.
It feels like both of them feels like a story, like and kind of like goes to what he did, a story that takes years to take. Leonard Cohen rewrote it and evolved it, and he did it on a lifespan, like telling the life of someone, you know, from beginning to end. There's this grandiose feeling to both that again feels like it's talking about a life. So I think that's what kind of mirrors the feeling, because I actually understand what you mean, but it's very nuanced, but I really understand what you mean.
Cool. Well, that's good. As long as at least one other person kind of understands what I mean, I feel better. I know I'm not crazy then. Well, I mean, no, I shouldn't say that.
We're both crazy. We're both crazy. It's okay.
Yeah. I'll go with that one. It's more fun. Dude, yes, this is awesome. Thank you guys for checking this out. Hit that like button if you like that. Slam the hell out of it. Comment. Let me know the two things specifically about Leonard Cohen and that whole connection in my mind, and also the happiness and slavery connection there. Was Ren kind of like throwing a little homage to happiness and slavery, Nine Inch Nails? I don't know. And also in the comments, let me know in a very polite way, not me, but let Frenchie know as well in a very polite way, guys. Come on now. How you feel about him not liking Nine Inch Nails, because that's just insane to me. That's my favorite band. So I know.
I have a lot of people around me loving it. It's not like I hate it, but I've never listened to the whole album. I don't listen to 3-4 songs in a row. I was like, oh, here, you know, a couple of songs here and there in my week. Like, okay, it's cool. But taking my time to listening back to back, it doesn't, not to be mean, but at one point I'll get bored because it just doesn't hook me.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Like, I can't stand ABBA, you know. I know you like them, but I can't stand that shit. So it's okay, man. It's all good. It's all good. Yep. The things we do have in common far outweigh the things we don't have in common. Thank you guys once again. And one more time, if you are a returning viewer especially, come on, guys. A lot of y'all who come back for multiple videos, return watches and stuff, you aren't subscribed. Let's do it, guys. On the road to 10,000. A lot of good stuff coming next year. I have to just shut up and stop right now, or I won't shut up. I've not spoken to anyone, like actually spoken to anyone really for a long time. So I'm just going to have to shut up and stop right now.